Testing, testing, testing. I think you can hear. Value and eyes wide and jaw hanging open, and everything is about shock this, shock that, clickbait. Everything's supposed to, like, oh, you're supposed to drop your jaw, you're supposed to go all uh I'm gonna click that because this is absurd. You're like, the absurdity of this. I think naturally, as people, sometimes things that make us cringe, I think we're all familiar with the term cringe, things that are cringy draw people sometimes in, because we all like to have a good cringe every now and then, or have a good reaction to appalling things. And even if it's not appalling, just the sheer gravity of the effect it has on your psyche um, will make you focus on something. So, this rant, I said fuck it. I said, I shouldn't even talk about this because this is gross. This is, I could get a lot of judgment for this. This is probably something people would maybe look at me different for. But I feel like sometimes what people do, I feel like sometimes they analyze me and they probably already kind of understand, well, not understand, but they probably already have conceived notions of me, and maybe some of them are true. But obviously, people are not just gonna say everything they think, so they're not just gonna come out and say, like, Steve, I think you're nasty, like, you're freaky, like, you probably you're probably into some nasty shit, or you probably do some straight nasty shit, man. Like, I can tell that you just don't give a fuck. And I mean, that's not exactly that gray. I mean, it's not exactly that black and white, but I mean, I really kind of don't give a fuck, really. I'm kind of like one of those people who, I respect people, so I'm always, to me, it's always about, like, having boundaries and respecting people's boundaries, and then, like, respecting people's likes and dislikes, and then understanding where to draw the line. Like, where do I draw the line between being myself completely, and where do I draw the line of when I'm not going to give a fuck what someone thinks, and when do I distinguish when it's the appropriate time to listen to people, or do what's appropriate. So this rant is a nasty rant. This is not buckwild and crazy. This is down and dirty and nasty, right? So I'm just gonna give you the warning. If you're cringed out by this, or maybe you, like, don't want to hear this because you don't want to see me in a certain way or something, or maybe you're a friend or a family member that Steve, but you don't want to hear about Steve in that way, then shut the video off now, because I'm giving you a warning. Just gave you that warning, man. I gave you the warning. But if you just have that dying feeling that you're like, I have to hear what he's gonna say, well, then I guess you're gonna watch the whole thing, most likely. So what this rant about is, I'm not gonna talk about the Leaf tea bottle, because that I'll save that shit for some other time. But so I jokingly proclaim myself as the nastiest man on YouTube. Like Whitney, Wisconsin. If you don't know what that is, it is. Yeah, you have to put it. I have to put it like that because it's more appropriate to call her an it than a her. And that's not an offense. That's just like, it's so astounding. The whether it's true or not, the claims are just so astounding, and all the buzz around it is so crazy that you would almost have to call Whitney, Wisconsin, an it, in a character. She's like an entity in her own self. But I would proclaim myself to be the nastiest man on YouTube. Not the nastiest girl, but the nastiest man. And I would also say that as far as being the nastiest man on YouTube, Whitney, Wisconsin has nothing on me. Like King Kong has nothing on me. So I'm saying this to say this is a nasty fucking rant right here. This is a couple of things I want to touch on. First I'll start in with the baseline and then I'll get really nasty. Uh, so first off, I was thinking one day and I was like, because I don't want people to take this the wrong way to really think I'm this very disgusting person and I'm like a freaky, nasty person like a Brian Pumper, if you know who that is, a Brian Pumper mind state thought, because I'm not no Brian Pumper, you know, I'm not a sex crazed perv that thinks about sex all day. I'm not like that. But one day I was thinking, I was like, man, you know, my life is depressing. I'm like, I always have violent thoughts, like thoughts of hurting people, because I don't like people and people make me angry. They do stupid shit and I get angry. And then I'm like I have traumas, you know, and people people's thoughts and actions always traumatize me in some type of way. Like, you know, it's like I'm very sensitive to those emotions, but I don't really let it overtake me. But then I also, you know, I also suffer from like rage and jealousy because, you know, I'm the guy who always is seeing beautiful women with boyfriends have boyfriends, and I'm always alone. And you know, after a while, you just get really fucking like your psyche kind of just, let's say your psyche gets cracks in it. You know, after a while, you just, there's certain things that change about you. You know, you don't see people the same way. Like you don't see, especially men. Like, you know, you don't give a fuck about men. Men are nothing to you. Like in insects. You know, like you just don't give a fuck. You know, you don't care what people think. You know, you get violent and antisocial. You know, that's just how it is. You know, you don't like. It's almost like you could tolerate women, but men are just like intolerable. You just have no fucking nothing positive for men. You know what I mean? Period. You know, that's just how I. Well, that's just me. You know, like I say I hate people. I'm not racist, but I hate all races equally. And but do I? I fucking hate men with passion. Like men, just to me, are scum. You know, they're useless. But all they do is get in my way. You know, that's all they ever do is annoy the fuck out of me and get in my way. But to say, with saying that, um, I would say that so obviously I watch porn. You know, like being a single man and, you know, with no girlfriend. Obviously, you know, you have a sex drive, and obviously, you know, the fap, you know, the fap is always present. You know, the fapping don't stop. You know, well, I mean, the fapping does stop, but you know what I'm saying, just as a joke, you know. So basically, one day I was sitting around, I was like, you know what, man, I was like, I'm already always heartbroken. You know, I'm already have a shattered psyche. You know, I'm already angry. I'm always frustrated. I'm always mad. I'm always violent anyway. So I was like, man, shit, if I could find, I'm always overworked, always have calories expended from working a stupid ass job. That's the dumbest shit in the world. And then like to pile on top of that, you know, I'm wasting calories that I shouldn't be wasting. I should be building muscle and having more time to rest and putting more time towards things that fulfill me in creative things. But I have to pay rent. You know, I can't be a fucking bum on the street, and I would hate to. So I have to keep this box up that I'm living in. And you know, with that all being said, you know, this is like always a crazy rant. You know, with that being said, I was thinking one day, I was like, man, if I could do porn, shit, I would. I was like, because think of it this way. Now hold your horses before you get all judgmental and stupid and shit. Hold on. What I'm saying is this: if you're a guy like me who isn't getting laid, period, regardless, and you have no sex life, and you have no love life, there's nothing fulfilling because you're always alone, so you have no what's the word? You have no that need is always not filled. the emotional need plus the physical need is never fulfilled. So you realize that, like, what's the difference between a person who does porn and even if the emotions aren't being fulfilled, the physical need is at least being fulfilled, kind of. I mean, obviously, not every person you're fucking you really are super attracted to them, but at least you're fucking women, and if you're like me and you're not, no offense, but if you're not a tutti frutti boy, because I like women, I'm not no tutti frutti boy. So obviously I would enjoy it making the porn, and I love film and I love filming. And honestly, I do really like I'll put it like this. I don't like porn in the fact where I'm like obsessed with it, or always horny, or have this like disgusting little 16-year-old boy sex drive thing going on. But me, the art behind the porn, like the comedy aspect, the film aspect, and like the actors, because those are actual people, it's a job, and they have personalities. If you were to talk to a porn star outside of their job, they're usually very interesting, charismatic people. So I just like the culture kind of it. You know what I mean? Not like the, don't get it twisted. Like I'm a very wholesome person sometimes. Like I can be very family orientated. I'm a person who I really cherish boundaries and like serious relationships. Like I cherish having a woman who is trying to be a wife, like to that type of nature. But the culture of the porn, of the how can I say it, the because there is a culture in porn. Porn is a culture. um I do, to a degree, have, like, I do have interest in it, you know what I mean. Obviously it's something to where, obviously, if I was in a relationship, there's no way that I would, if someone was like, hey man, do you want to film this scene, man, with this girl, like, it's obviously I would not do that, but as a person, like, if someone offered, what I'm trying to say is, man, motherfucker, if someone offered me a fucking job today that said, Steve, you know what, they laid it out, they were like, if you could make this monthly and pay your rent, and what you're, let's say they were like, and I know it doesn't work like this, because if you know anything about porn, which I know a little bit about it, like how people get paid and things, you could easily pay my rent very fast if you did enough scenes. Um, in this, depending on what type of scenes they were, what you had to do and everything and stuff, you could easily pay my rent faster than I could working my job, as sad as that sounds. So what I'm trying to say is, if a person offered me, I'm trying to say, a person like me that's not having a sex life, not having a love life, is very alone, very bored, very angry, very violent. If someone offered me a job to do fucking porn, man, instead of doing my job that I worked, I'd drop that shit in a heartbeat and would jump right on the porn. Another reason why is because I realize, if someone was to see me in a film and be like, hey man, you're that guy. It's different for a guy, I think, than a woman. It's a little bit different. They're like, because guys usually, it's kind of like some guy's fantasy or something to be a porn person, or not even to be a star per se, but just to be in porn scenes. They'd be like, oh shit, man, you're that guy. They'll be like, you're that skinny guy that you did this thing and you did that thing, and oh man, that shit was crazy, man. You got to fuck that bitch. Damn. It's like, you know, I, I don't fucking mind. I really wouldn't give a fuck. Or if women would look at me a certain way, motherfucker, did I just accidentally fart on a fucking oh god, this is already cringe as cringe. I just fucking farted on a fucking rant. I forgot I was even ranting. I forgot that I was ranting for people. I thought I was just like, laying in bed, winding down. I got food cooking and waiting for it at that, and I just let a fucking fart out. Well, that cat's out the bag. Humans have farts. But anyway, so I know, if someone saw it, or let's say it was someone at work or some shit saw it, and they were like, I have to say, I have to ask you, like, I saw this thing in or they might lie or some shit. And be like, you know, people always lie. They'd be like, well, somebody told me they saw this guy in this thing. Oh, it was, you know, I I'd just be open. I'd be like, well, yeah, like what? Well, you know what I mean? It's like, because I really, honestly, I don't care. You know, the thing about me is like, you ever seen that movie Hancock with Will Smith? I love the scene where he goes and he grabs ice cream and like his whole ass is just hanging out and he just like goes walks up grabs ice cream and then like bounces out like that. That's kind of how I am really. Like I really only care about getting things I want. It sounds fucked up, but and don't take it that way either. I care about people's feelings and emotions, and obviously, relationships with people, regardless of what types of things they are, relationships they are. I care about people's emotions, but no, what I'm saying is, as long as the people I care about don't judge me a certain way, I don't give a fuck. Like if it was only like 3 or 4 friends I had that simply didn't judge me for the way I behave, then I'm fine. You know, I don't care. I could care less if a motherfucker, because things are about respect. If you respect me, but you at the same time were to see me in a scene, I really don't care. You know what I mean? It's because you're not. It would depend on how you would treat me about it. You know, you don't have to treat me a bad way. You could simply just be like, "Oh man, that shit was crazy," and you know, probably look at me and start laughing because you're thinking of like, you know, you've seen, you know, everything. You know what I mean? You've seen it all. You have seen the cock and balls. You have seen the booty hole. You have seen everything. You know, you have seen the whole nine. So you'd be like, you know, you probably laugh. You know, you'd probably look at me and then laugh, and then think about the scene you saw on the porn, then look at me and then you start laughing. I mean, whatever, you know. But what, or maybe you just would be like completely grossed out or something. I don't know. But the thing is, this is like, you know, I don't really give a fuck unless what matters is if I get what I want. Like if I can find a nice girl and have a committed relationship and have a nice marriage and do all that and like let's say I did porn or whatever type of amateur porn or whatever. If I did porn and then I met a girl and a girl saw it and she just didn't judge me for it, then I wouldn't. Then what do I have to worry about? I don't care. The thing about me is I don't care what friends think. I don't care what people think, strangers think. What I care about is like mainly it's the girl that I'm with. Like I care what she thinks. You know what I mean? It ain't about all these other fucking people because they 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 don't come first. They come last. You know what I mean? So that's how I take that. You know, but aside from the porn rant and I just basically laid out the reasons why I would look at doing porn as a plus plus, you know, and filming it too is one thing I would do. I definitely it would get a little taking used to, but I wouldn't be completely against filming it either. Like I wouldn't be against filming a lot of things, you know, because I like to film things, you know. But I now it's time to get into the nasty and the nitty gritty and the down and dirty. You know, it's time to talk about that. So this is a nasty ass story. Finally, to get to it, that I'm sure, like I said before, you know, if you don't want to see me, if you don't want to see me in a certain light, then you may just want to fucking just cut the video right here, and you can fucking go about your business, and that's all fine and dandy. So basically, the story goes like this, man. So this is some nasty shit. This is like some redneck hillbilly shit that I did, right? Which I'm kind of I know someone who's like really nasty. I know a couple people who are really nasty. Like and they're notorious for doing some shit, but this is some shit that I'm like not everyone knows I'm notorious for this shit, but I know and maybe a couple of close friends know a little bit about like some notorious nasty shit that I do. That's just some horribly nasty shit. Um so I was like one day I was laying in bed and I was like, well, it's that time again. I was like, it's time to hit the X videos and the Pornhub up. I'm like, I'm about to go to sleep soon, so it's time. You know, it's fappy time. I was like, Flappy Bird. You know, I was like, time to get down and dirty and nasty with myself. I was like, let's see what's on the fucking porn. And I was like, what am I even gonna look at? Or who am I gonna look at? And I was like, oh, I know I'll look up one of my favorite girls. I was like, Siri, I'm about to hit up this. I'm about to hit me up some Siri porn. And I was like, okay. But then I was like, I had this, it's always like a crazy spark. It's like a primal nasty moment. It's like a dog moment. Literally, it's like I got this nasty bumpkin ass, redneck ass, hick hillbilly. I got this nasty ass idea because I saw a jar of fucking apple jelly sitting that was old and outdated sitting across the fucking room near the bed. And I looked at myself and I looked at jelly jar, I looked at myself and I was like, I'm about to fuck me that jelly jar, man. I fucking, man, I went over there. I got the jelly jar, man. I was like, and I got a fucking, what's that thing called? I got a rubber glove, man. And I was like, basically made that shit into like a condom or something. And I basically, I watched the Siri porn and fucked the jar of jelly, man. Now that is nasty. That is nasty. But you know what, man? I would say two things that was funny. I was like, one, this jelly jar, this jelly jar was too short in my opinion, so a little too short. So I felt like I had to control the momentum because I was like, I don't want to run my, I don't want to ram, I don't want to run like it's like a car accident. I don't want to run my wiener into the far end of a jar. You know, that'd be kind of painful and could be a little bit damaging. But so that that went down, and the jar. Well, I say was it relatively a plus? Was it good relatively? Like kind of sort of, but you know, it's a fucking jar of jelly. Like what? How good do you think it would fucking be, man? So and did I finish in the jar? No, but I'll tell you this though, it was the sloppiest, nastiest thing. It was like the stickiest. It was all jelly in my pubes and jelly all. I had to clean it up. I had to clean it all up, man. It was fucking. It was disgusting. It was disgusting, but it was pretty funny, man. It was now that when I think of shit, it's funny. Like when I think of shit like that, I kind of laugh because it's hilarious. I'm like, well, if someone could only see this shit, it's like the thought behind it, I'm kind of like, well, there's worse things people do. I mean, people like molest children and cheat on their spouse and shit. And not, I mean, it sounds fucked up, but I'd say, sometimes there's a good reason to cheat on a person, or depending on how lousy they are, or if there's just nothing there, you might as well. But, or just leave them, But, like I was gonna say, a lot of worse things to do, man, in this world. Like I've seen people, abuse their spouse physically. I've seen all types of traumatizing shit in my life that people have done, and had all types of traumatizing shit people have done to me, not necessarily physically, but emotionally. So, there's a lot of worse shit that someone could do. So it doesn't exactly make me feel that bad. It's like, I don't know. Some people may have like went a little buck wild and crazy and fucked a tree, but probably couldn't say they fucked a jelly jar or a leaf tea bottle. But so that's pretty much my rant. This is a gross ass rant. This is a cringe rant. This is like a cringe warning. I don't know what the fuck YouTube is gonna do with this, man. Especially because I said tutti frutti in it. So I called someone tutti frutti. But fuck you, YouTube, you fucking assholes and you pussies. So you don't want the truth for some reason. I try to tell you the truth, and you don't want the truth. You want to lie, and I try to tell you the truth, but you don't want the truth, YouTube. You want fucking lies. So, this is not for kids. I'm sorry. I apologize for the cursing, but I just had to rant on that because I thought it was funny because it made me laugh. And I'm pretty sure some people have crazy stories, but they'll probably never tell you, though. They'll probably keep it to themselves. They'll probably maybe only tell their spouse or maybe their very closest friends, if that. So, you know, that is the rant. I think it has gone on long enough. And, yeah, like, comment, and subscribe. I'm tired of doing rant videos, but, there you go. Have a good one.